Hi everyone, today we're going to do a powerful strengthening class with a focus on the core. Now we all know that core strength is critical, but achieving it can be elusive because it's difficult to understand what the core actually is. Is it just rock hard abs? Well, not just. It's a whole connected fascial unit across the skeleton of the body, top to bottom. Think of it as the core of an apple. And it's essential for our stability, strength, energy, stamina, while we're standing, while we're sitting, while we're doing any sports. And it's deep in the body, but the problem is that a lot of us use just our outer body strength. For example, our outer limbs and our superficial muscles. And that's especially true for yoga, which asks us to place our bodies in certain ways. And this causes unnecessary tension and strain on the joints and dunking in the lower back, and it can cause injury. So by activating the core line, we can keep the outer body soft and flexible and access inner strength. So whatever pose we're doing, we ask to ground, push down through the foundation being whatever is touching the floor, and pulling in and up through the core, which creates an opposition of forces and helps us feel lighter and helps us have our whole alignment correct. And better alignment is better posture is better breathing, which means we feel better. So let's get started. Staying in a seat at the top of your mat, any comfortable seat. You can be on your shins, you can be sitting up on a block. Sometimes it's nice to have our knees under our hips. And arrive. Close your eyes if you haven't yet. Tap into your breathing. Tap into this pocket of stillness. Accessing your inner world and the privacy of your heart. We're going to move a lot today, but these moments of stillness are equally important. They help us become whole, gather ourselves, be this body-mind unit, miraculous unit that we are. Let's take a deep breath together. Let out all the air from your lungs. Inhale through the nose. Fill up a little bit more than you think you can. Hold it for 3, 2, 1. Open the mouth, sigh it out. Inhale through the nose. Move it through. Begin your deep, rhythmic inhales and exhales. In through the nose, out through the nose, and deep into the belly. Flutter open the eyes. Inhale, reach your arms up. And exhale, twist to the right. Left hand on right knee, right hand behind you. Twist, keeping a tall spine. Inhale, come back, arms up. Exhale, twist to the left. Right hand on left knee, left hand behind you. Twist. Inhale, arms up. And exhale, plant your hands ahead of you and meet me in a tabletop position. Wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. Make sure you're nice and wide across your fingers, grounding through all finger pads and knuckle pads. Couple cycles of cat-cow to move into the spine. Inhale, lift your tailbone, collarbones, and gaze. And exhale, round through the back body. Inhale, lift tailbone, collarbones, and gaze. Look up, exaggerate these movements. And exhale, round through the back body, back of the heart towards sky. Again, inhale, open it up. And exhale, tuck the tailbone, close it out. Meet me in a neutral spine. Reach your left hand out in front of you and your right foot back behind you. Reaching through the fingertips, reaching through that back heel. Make sure the back leg is flexed. One long line from the back heel to the fingertips. Try to keep the hips and shoulders square here. We're activating in our core. Your neck is a natural extension of the spine. Inhale and exhale. Bring your elbow in and your right knee towards your nose. Inhale, open it up. Reach the hand and foot. Reaching through the heel. Exhale. Left elbow in, right knee to nose. One more time. Inhale, open it up. Reach. Exhale, knee to nose and elbow in. One more time. Inhale, open it up. Reach. And now keep your leg where it is, but bring your left hand down and open up the right hip. Place the sole of the right foot on the ground behind you. Bring your left foot to the left a little bit and inhale, open up your right hand towards the ceiling. So we're in a supported side plank here. Reach your right hand to the front of the mat. So you're creating a rainbow shape with the body. Press out of the left shoulder and feel a nice side body stretch all the way from the outer edge of the back foot to the tips of the right fingers. Breathe here. Now we're going to try to tap our right knee to elbow. So inhale, exhale, bend the right knee, bend the right arm, and see if you can crunch and tap. Inhale, extend right arm and foot and leg. And exhale, bend, crunch, tap right knee to right elbow. One more time. Inhale, extend, and exhale, crunch, right knee taps right elbow. Inhale, extend, and exhale, right hand down, right knee down. Come back to tabletop. Other side. Reach your right hand towards the front of the room and reach your left leg back behind you. Keeping your back as flat as possible, flexing through that back heel, kicking through that back heel and reaching with the fingertips. Inhale here. And exhale, right elbow in, left knee to nose. Inhale, open it up, kick it back. And exhale, close it in. Activating in the core. Inhale, open it up. And exhale, close it in. Inhale, open it up. Keep the leg where it is. Bring the right hand down. Open up the left hip. And then bring the left sole of the foot to the ground behind you. Bring your right foot to the right a little. And inhale, open up your left hand. Supported side plank on the other side. Reach your left hand to the front of the room. Reaching, feeling the side body stretch. And on your next exhale, bring your left elbow towards your left knee. Crunch. Doesn't have to tap, but a direction. Inhale, reach. Exhale, bend left knee and left elbow. Crunch. See if you can tap the knee to the elbow. One more time. Inhale, reach. Extend arm and leg. And exhale, knee taps elbow. Inhale, reach. And exhale, meet me back in a tabletop position. Now, make sure you're really grounded through all 10 fingers. Tuck the toes and see if you can hover your knees just an inch above the mat or a centimeter. Keeping everything else the same, keeping hips the same, pulling the navel in towards the spine, saying hello again to your core. Now, you can either stay here or for the fun of it, try not to shift too much with the body. Come onto right fingertips and see if you can tap your right fingers to your left shoulder. Right hand back down, come onto left fingertips. See if you can tap left fingers to right shoulder. And exchange a little bit, tap a little bit with each side. Try not to shift too much side to side with the body, it's really hard. And when you're even on both sides, extend the legs, send your hips back behind you, downward facing dog. Whew. Start to pedal out through the feet, warming up into your down dog. You might get into the creaks and corners, bend with one knee, bending the other, moving the hips side to side. Any movement that feels good in the body. On your next inhale, ripple through the spine and come into a plank position. Strong in your plank. Reach back with those heels. Both legs are very engaged. Press out of the floor with your hands. Engage your lower abdominals. Now we're going to take a big step forward with both hands. So we're in a kind of extended plank shape. We're hollowing out our plank. Here, pull the ribs up, press into the hands. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower the knees to the ground, untuck the toes, and now move forward, lower the hips to the ground and the elbows to the ground, and we should meet in a Sphinx pose. Now adjust your position so that your elbows are underneath your shoulders. Your forearms are straight, your index fingers are pointing forward. You're pressing into the hands, you're pressing into the pubic bone, you're pressing the tops of the feet into the ground, squeezing the glutes, and pulling the heart forward. Your shoulders are away from the ears. Crown of the head is reaching tall, and you can energetically pull your elbows a little bit in towards the body to traction the heart further forward. All right, now we're going to tuck the toes and meet in a forearm plank. So first lift the hips and then lift the knees off the ground, forearm plank. Press out of the shoulders, squeeze the glutes, reach the heels back, reach the crown of the head forward. You might even move forward and back in your forearm plank, feeling a nice stretch in the Achilles tendons. For another 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. First, lower the knees, untuck the toes, lower the hips back down, Sphinx pose. Inhale here, and exhale, melt the heart onto the ground. Reach your arms forward, and we're going to come up into a locust pose. So on an inhale, reach your arms up, reach your legs up, so only your belly button and pubic bone are on the ground. Point through the balls of the feet. Separate the toes as if you're reaching them as far back as possible. Your legs are straight and lengthening. Reach through those arms, but make space in the shoulders. Firing up the back line of the body. Inhale here. And exhale down. Come to rest. Bring one cheek to the ground. Feel a release maybe in the lower back. Maybe move the hips side to side. Wiggle, wiggle. All right, we're going to do that again. Arms out in front of you, palms facing each other. Inhale, reach your arms and legs up. Lengthening. Reaching the heart forward and up as much as possible. Arms a little higher, legs a little higher. Inhale here. Exhale, stay here and cactus out the arms. So you imagine you're trying to point the elbows towards the hips. Inhale, reach the arms forward. And exhale, cactus out the arms, kind of like a breaststroke. One more time. Inhale, reach the arms forward. Exhale, cactus out the arms. Let the shoulder blades come together on the back body. And on your next exhale, bring your other cheek to the ground. When you're ready, simply bring your hands by your wrists and sit your hips back onto your heels, child's pose. Bring your forehead in contact with the ground. Palms are grounded out ahead of you. Now remember, you can come into child's pose at any point in practice. Listen to your body and take breaks. Tuck your toes. Meet me in a downward facing dog. So start to take a walk to the top of your mat. Dippy toes, feet walk towards hands. And stay in a forward fold at the top of the mat, but with a generous bend in the knees. We haven't warmed up into the hamstrings. Grab opposite elbows. Maybe sway side to side. Let go of the weight of the head. Shake the head, yes and no maybe. When you're ready, release the hands. One vertebrae at a time. Come up. stacking the vertebrae. Head is last to come up. Once you're up, we're in Tadasana, mountain pose. Palms face forward, standing tall and proud, shoulder blades together on the back. Gentle engagement in your knees and quads. Imagine a piece of string is pulling you up from the crown of your head. Bring palms together at heart center, close your eyes, set a gentle intention for your practice. Dedicate this practice to someone or a group who might need a little bit of your good energy and help. That person might be you. Flutter open the eyes, warming up through sun salutation. Inhale, reach the arms up, palms together, look up at the palms. Exhale, hinge at the hips, fold forward over the legs, Uttanasana. Let go of the head. Inhale, look up halfway, heart forward. Exhale, plant the hands, step or jump back into plank and lower down, Chaturanga, elbows point back. Inhale, upward facing dog, hips are off the ground, tops of the toes on the ground. And exhale, roll over the toes, downward facing dog. Breathing here, pulling up the tailbone. Heart reaches towards thighs. Grounding through your finger pads and knuckle pads, pressing the floor away. And feel your vertebrae in the spine moving away from each other, like your spine is waterfalling forward. Reach those heels even closer to the ground as you keep the legs straight. Bend your knees, arch your back, look between your hands, step or jump between your hands. Inhale, look up halfway, flat back. Exhale, fold forward over the legs, close the front side of the body. Inhale, root to rise, come all the way up, wide arms. And exhale, hands to heart center, Samastiti. Inhale, sit deeply into your chair pose. Hips back, heart forward. Most of your weight is on your heels. Sit a little deeper and keep your shoulders down and away from the ears. Palms can be together or facing each other. Engage the triceps to keep the arms straight. Lower back is nice and flat. And exhale, fold over the legs, Uttanasana, straighten the legs. Inhale, look up, halfway, prepare. Exhale, plant the hands, step or jump back into your Chaturanga. Finish your exhale here. Inhale, upward facing dog, heart pushes forward between the arms. And exhale, downward facing dog. Breathing here, taking inventory of the breath, of the heartbeat. On your next inhale, reach the right leg high, three-legged dog. Keep the right hip down so that your hips are squared. Squeeze the right glute to pull the leg higher. And exhale, right knee to nose, shoulders over wrists. Press the floor away with your hands. Inhale, send it back, three-legged dog, right leg high. And exhale, knee to nose, shoulders over wrists. Inhale, right leg back, last time. Exhale, knee to nose, press the floor away, pull the knee in, higher, higher, make space, step the right foot between your hands. Stay on the ball of the back foot, engage through the legs, and we're gonna come up into a high lunge. Arms reach up overhead, come up with your torso. In high lunge, our front leg is bent at a 90 degree. Make sure that your front knee is above your ankle and not further. It can be further back though. Slight tuck in the tailbone, make sure your hips are square to the front of the mat. Your back leg is super straight, so bump that back thigh up towards the ceiling. Reach through the back heel. Your arms are strong and straight, your shoulders are away from the ears. Inhale here, and on an exhale, send your arms back beside you. Reach the hands to the back of the room as you hinge the torso forward over the front leg, about 45 degrees. Now take the belly off of the front thigh. Power lunge with airplane wings. Now we're going to start to lean forward, bring weight into the front foot so that you're just onto the back big toe. And kick into a warrior three. So send the left leg behind you, capital T with the body. Flex that back foot. Your left hip dials down a little so your hips are both pointing down. Shoulder blades together on the back body, but make sure that you knit your lower ribs in to take any back bend out of the shape. Super strong through the legs. Inhale here. And exhale, warrior two. Rebend into the front knee. Deliver the back toes so that the foot is parallel to the back of the mat. And windmill, the arms open. So your torso and hips are facing the side. One long line across the arms, palms facing down. And your gaze is to the front, middle finger. Once again, 90-degree bend in that front leg. Breathe into the fingertips and smile. Inhale, reverse the warrior. Flip the front palm. Right tricep to right ear. Left hand comes onto the back leg. And exhale, Trikonasana, triangle pose. So straighten the front leg, plug the right hip into the socket, reach the right arm forward and down, left arm up, triangle pose. Make sure you're pressing into the feet, pulling up the knees and quads. You're stacking the shoulders, one long line across your fingertips. Look up at that top left hand. Lean your torso back in space a little. Imagine you're in between two panes of glass. Pull the right hip in a little bit. Take up space here. Be bright and bold. Lifting sensation. Ground through the legs, engage the core. Inhale, come up. Bring your right toes in and bring your hands to hips. So now we're in a wide-legged stance facing the side of the mat. Inhale, open up the heart. And exhale, hinge at the hips. Sink into the fold. Breathing here and letting go of the upper body while still pulling up with the legs. Strong in the legs. Knees and quads pull up, press into the feet. Coccyx pulls up. Let go of the head. Hands can be wherever they land. Crown of the head reaches down. If you want to feel the crown of the head on the ground, you can widen your stance a little. Your gaze is just above your nose. Bring your hands on your hips, strong through the legs. Inhale, come up in one piece. Exhale, warrior two. Point the right toes forward. Bend the right knee. Gaze across that right fingers. Reverse the warrior again on an inhale. Extended side. Right hand comes on the outside of right foot or on the block. And left arm up and over. Roll the heart towards the sky. Spin the left side ribs open. Press into the feet, super strong legs. Press the right knee into the right armpit a little bit. Your gaze is up at that left pinky finger. One long line from the outer edge of the left foot all the way to the fingers. And exhale, left hand down, step back and lower down, chaturanga or knees, chest, chin. Inhale, low cobra or upward facing dog. Squeeze the glutes. Exhale, downward facing dog. Lion's breath. Inhale through the nose. Stick out the tongue and make some noise as you sigh it out. Inhale, reach the left leg up, three-legged dog. Exhale, left knee to nose, shoulders over wrists. Inhale, left leg up, three-legged dog. Exhale, left knee to nose. Pull the knee in. Inhale, left leg up, one last time. Exhale, knee to nose, make space. Step the left foot through between the hands. Stay on the ball of the back foot, engage through the legs. Inhale, come up, high crescent lunge on the other side. Back leg is super straight. Slight tuck in the tailbone. Your sacrum is reaching down towards the ground. Inhale here. Exhale, lean over the front leg as the arms reach back, airplane wings. The palms can face the body or down. Remember to take the belly in and up, away from the front thigh. Start to travel forward in space, bring weight into the left leg, and kick back, warrior three. Right heel reaches back behind you, one long line from there all the way to the crown of your head. Super strong standing leg, ground through all four corners of the standing foot. And exhale, warrior two, re-bend into the standing leg, windmill open the arms, back foot steps back, parallel to the back of the mat. Sink into the warrior two shape. Bring the front knee to the left a little bit. Inhale, reverse the warrior. Exhale, straighten the front leg, reach the left arm forward and down. Trikonasana, triangle pose. Right arm reaches. Shoulders are stacked and hips are stacked. And gaze is at that top arm. Pull up the knees and quads and your legs. Hands on hips, inhale, come back up, bring the left toes in. You're facing the side of the mat. Toes are slightly more in than your heels. Inhale, open up the heart. Exhale, moment of rest. Fold forward over the legs. You might even close the eyes here. Hands on the hips. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, warrior two again. Left toes point forward, wide across the arms, deep bend in the left knee. Spin the heart to the right a little bit. Inhale, reverse the warrior, side body stretch. And exhale, extended side. Left hand comes to the floor block, outside the left foot. Right arm up and over. Right bicep raises right ear. Spin the right side ribs up. Look up at the hand. And exhale, right hand down. Step back and either straight to downward dog or take a vinyasa. Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Breathing here. We're going to come into our next big flow. Before then, we start to slow things down. Let's think of tapas, discipline, one of the niyamas, ways to live in the 8 limbs of yoga. And it's not about sort of self-scolding, but it's about this burning desire to improve, to do better, to be active. On your next inhale, ripple forward into a plank. We're going to come into Vasisthasana, side plank. So roll onto the outside edge of right foot, inside edge of left, and reach the left arm up. You're welcome to modify this pose by bringing the right knee down and using it as a kind of staff. But otherwise, kicking through the feet, flexing the feet, stacking the feet, bumping the hips up. Your gaze can either be to the side or to the top thumb. Super straight legs, press out of the right hand and out of the right shoulder. Now, see if you can bend the left knee and bring the left knee towards the left armpit. Now we're going to take a funky transition, either one big step or lots of little steps of the left foot to the top of the mat by the right hand. Woo! Once you're there, reach forward with the left hand. And now engage into the legs and into the core. See if you can bring your right hand off the ground and reach forward with your right hand. We're back in that power lunge, but this time with both arms reaching forward. Now start to move forward. Once again, bring weight into the left foot, kick back into a warrior three, the full pose this time with the arms reaching forward. This is a very strong pose. Back leg is flexed, press through the heel. From here, see if you can cactus out the arms and bring the right knee to tap the right elbow. Now we're going to bend into the standing leg and bring everything together. So palms together, elbows together, knees together, and feet together. So we're in this kind of closed chair pose. Press through the feet, extend the legs, extend the arms. Inhale, come up. And exhale, palms to heart center, Samastiti. Okay, we're gonna just play with a standing balance. A nice, strong, but simple one before we do the other side of this flow. Remember with standing balances, we want to be really grounding through all four corners of your standing leg. And then your standing leg is also really strong. So pulling up the kneecaps, pulling up the quadriceps, squeezing the glutes, keeping the spine so tall and with integrity, shoulders back and down, relaxed away from the ears. And of course, knitting the core up and in, grounding through our fine foundation. So bring your hands on your hips and bring, once you have one point of focus for your gaze, on something unmoving on the floor maybe, lift your right knee into the chest. Now, this is a really good place to stay, or you can play with extending the right toes towards the front of the mat. The leg does not have to come to straight, but what we're doing is we're bringing the leg as high up as possible. Breathing here. Try not to let the torso move forward or back. Pulling the navel in towards your spine. This is very strong in the core. Lift the leg a little higher and higher. Mine is shaking for 3, 2, 1. Bring the leg down. Shake out the legs. Shake out the hands. Maybe hop a little. Woo! All right. Hands on hips. Find that one point of focus for your gaze. And once you're steady and grounded in the feet, bring the left knee into chest. Hugging the left thigh to left rib cage first, and then working on extending the leg to any definition of straight that comes for you. Keeping the core super strong and engaged, spine straight. Pulling the leg as high as possible and lingering here. Firing up our quads for 3 and our hip flexors. 2. And 1. Release. Shake it, shake it, shake it. All right, coming back down. Stepping back to the front of the mat. On an inhale, come into your chair pose. Exhale, twisted chair to the right. So hands to heart center. Twist and turn to the right, hooking left elbow on the outside of right knee. Press right palm into left palm to twist further. Look down and make sure that your knees are level. We want most of your weight on your heels, and you're sitting back deeply into the chair. Now look down and start to really get grippy in that right foot and bring weight into your right foot as you try to bring the left toes towards left glutes. And then use this as a way to step gently back through a kind of warrior 3, the left toes to the back of the mat. Now you're in a twisted lunge. Now keeping the legs the same and keeping the twist to the side, see if you can detach the elbow from the knee and come up with your upper body facing the right. Open up the arms, twisted crescent lunge. Now stay here or find the reverse. Right hand to left thigh, left arm up and over. And exhale, cartwheel the hands. Meet me either in a downward dog or take a vinyasa. Exhaling chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Last side for this sequence. Feel free to take a break in child's pose if you need it. Otherwise, inhale, roll into a plank position. Side plank, round into the left hand, roll onto the outer edge of the left foot and inner edge of right, and reach the right arm up. You can stack the feet, you can modify. Make sure your legs are straight, kicking through the heels, bumping the hips up. The hips are level, so you might need to bring the right hip forward a little. Start to bend into the right knee, bring the right knee towards right armpit, and then taking that funky one step or many steps of the right foot to the front of the mat. So now we're in a kind of twisted lunge. But right away, reach the right arm forward, face forward. Get grounded into the legs and reach the left arm forward. We're back in that power lunge, but with the arms forward. Start to lean forward so you're just on the big toe of the back foot, and come up, kick up into a warrior three. Torso parallel to the ground. Keeping the torso parallel to the ground, cactus out the arms, bend into the back foot, leg, and see if you can touch the left knee to the left elbow. Now bend into the standing leg and bring palms to touch, elbows to touch, knees to touch, and feet to touch. So we're in a kind of closed chair. And inhale, come up. Arms reach up. Exhale, arms by your side. Tadasana. Woo! Straight into the other side this time. Inhale, come into your chair pose. Exhale, palms to heart center. Twist your chair to the left. So right elbow hooks on the outside of left leg. Press into the palms to twist further. Look down, get grippy under that left foot. Bring weight into the left leg and start to bring the right toes in towards your glutes. Then step the right toes back, like I press the slow motion button, so you end up into your twisted lunge. Make sure your back leg is straight. Now use the strength of the core to detach elbow from knee, keep the twist to the side, and come up with the upper body. Strength of the core is wrapping the lungs around the heart here. Bump that back thigh up. And now extend the arm, so right arm is pointing forward, left arm is pointing back. Stay here or find the reverse. Right arm up and over, left hand touches back thigh. And exhale, cartwheel the arms. Step back either directly in downward dog or take one last vinyasa. Inhale upward, exhale downward. Child's pose. Knees wide. Tops of the toes on the ground, big toes together, sit back on the heels. You did it. Simply releasing, like you're pouring a glass of water onto the mat. Catching your breath, allowing breath to come back to a more natural pace in the heartbeat. Now, this wouldn't be a core strength practice if we didn't play with Grow, but I'm going to give options. We can also hang out in our Malasana Yogi squat. So when you're ready, tuck the toes, send the hips back, downward facing dog, and see if you can hop into a yogi squat from here. So hopping the feet to the outside of the hands. Whoop. Okay, so yogi squat is a really good place to hang out and get strength in the core, get wide in our hips. So your heels might touch the ground, they might not. We're all built differently. Your palms are together in prayer, and your elbows are pressing the inside of the knees. So you're activating the glutes to pull the knees away from each other. But make sure that your lower abs are engaged. Your pelvis is heavy. Your pelvic bowl is reaching towards the ground, but you're wide across the chest and the collarbones. Crown of the head is reaching up. You can hang out here a little bit and even find a little bit of movement side to side. Or rock into your crow pose. Fingers wide, palms shoulder width distance apart. Index fingers pointing forward. Lift the hips, come onto tippy toes, walk your feet a little bit closer together. And now nestle your knees as high up as possible on the arms. Start to rock your weight forward. Now, remember, think your foundation. Your hands are really strong, pressing down into the mat, while the rest of you is pulling up, pulling the navel in towards the spine. Imagine defying gravity, puffing up through the upper back, C-curve shape, pulling the back of the heart towards the sky, pulling the feet in towards the glutes. You can play with lifting one foot off the mat, lifting the other, or even finding the balance for just a second. I'm going to give you a little more playtime. But otherwise, come back into child's pose. It's my favorite thing about yoga is that even in strength-based flows, we still have our moments of pause. All right, everybody meet me in a child's pose. And then walk the hands back and come back to kneeling on your shins. So we're in a kneeling position. Come up to standing on your knees. We're going to come into a back bend here. So bring your hands to your lower back, fingers pointing down. Roll the shoulders onto the back body, engage your inner thighs, and start to squeeze your glutes and press your hips forward as you open up the heart. Engage your core to protect the lower back. Engage your glutes to protect the lower back. Your hands might find your heels or not. And if they do, you can curl your head back. Squeeze the glutes, press the hips forward, and really enjoy the opening of the breastbone towards the sky and the opening of the throat. If you lower down, first bring your hands onto your lower back. Engage in the core and glutes to come all the way back up. Now, we're going to come to balancing on our toes. So sit your hips back onto your heels, pull the knees in towards your chest, and see if you can bring your heels onto the ground, but not your sit bones. And then hug your arms around your knees and find a bit of a counter stretch. Okay, one last burst of heat. Because we're so warmed up, it's fun to play with something called pistol squats, which is really hard for me as well. But it's playtime, so there's going to be modifications, there's going to be options, and then rest is coming. So we did this standing with our legs out in front of us, but we're going to do this in a squatting position. So your feet are hip-width distance apart. We're squatting, so your hips are low, but they're off the ground. Reach your arms out in front of you, and you can find a curve in your lower back this time. We're always trying to keep our back straight, but this time the ask is to find a curve and really reach your upper body forward. And now get weighty into your right foot. See if you can lift the left toes off the ground and reach the left heel to the front of the mat. Now, you might be here with the left heel on the front of the mat. This is very strong. You might have your hands to the floor or on blocks. Or play with lifting the left heel. Low pistol squat. You can stay here, or you can play with grabbing the left toes with your left peace fingers, bringing the right hand onto the right hip, staying here, or you can come all the way up and all the way down. I'm not going to cue that this time. 3, 2, 1. Now lower your hips to the ground, but keeping the bend in the right knee and the extension with the left. Bring your right hand to the floor behind you. Keep your right knee pointed up towards the ceiling. Inhale, reach the right arm up, and exhale, twist, deep twist to the right. Left elbow hooks on right knee. Inhales to extend through the crown. Exhale to find a little twist, a little deeper. The front toes are flexed. This pose is also called Lord of the Fishes. And exhale to derotate, twisting to the other side. Now we're going to come back into our squat simply to change legs. So feel free to use your hands if you need, but ground into the right foot. Lift your hips off the ground and see if you can lift your left heel off the ground and bring your left foot by your right. Okay, we're going to try this again on the other side. So hands can be on blocks, on the floor, extended out in front of you. Bring weight into your left foot, lean to the left, and reach your right leg out in front of you. Now, your right heel might be on the ground, it might stay lifted. Your right peace fingers might grab your right toes. And if you do, your left hand comes onto your left hip. You might come up and down, lingering in your pistol squat. Remember, you might be here, simply trying to lift the leg, which is a really good place to be, to build strength. And everybody, sit your hips down, keeping the legs as they are, left knee pointing up, right toes pointing up, left hand behind you. Inhale, reach the right arm up, super straight spine. Exhale, twist and turn to the left. Right elbow hooks on left knee. Inhaling to reach through the spine. Exhaling to find a deeper twist. Right toes are flexed. Wrapping the lungs around the heart. Keeping your navel pulled in towards your spine. And inhale, release. Exhale, derotate to the right. Perfect. This time, you're simply going to extend both legs out in front of you. Scooch a little bit forward on the mat because we're going to be coming onto our back bodies. But first, inhale, reach your legs up, arms up, boat pose. It wouldn't be a core practice if we didn't have one boat in it. This is our last burst of heat, I promise. Heart reaches towards knees. If this is easy for you, you can try extending your legs up, but we're balancing on our sit bones. Exhale, lower your torso and legs to a tiny hover above the mat. Pull the navel in towards spine, squeeze legs together, squeeze everything together, low boat. Inhale, come up, high boat. Exhale, low boat. Inhale, high boat. Exhale, low boat. At your own pace. Just a couple more boat crunches. For 3, 2, 1. And lower down onto your back. Woo! You did it. Now, bring your arms beside you. And on your next inhale, use momentum to send your legs back behind you. So you don't have to come into a full plow pose here. If your feet don't touch behind you, that's okay. If they do, bring your toes to the ground and try extending your legs so you're in a plow pose, lifting your hips up, pressing the thighs towards the ceiling. If they don't touch, you can bring your feet onto blocks, or you can simply just let the feet hover over, because we're doing this mostly so we can get into our shoulder stand. Now, bring your hands to your upper back. Walk them up your back and try to walk your elbows a little closer together, and then send your legs up to the ceiling. Now, this pose requires a lot of core strength because we're trying to stack the hips over the shoulders, the feet over the hips. Your gaze is at your navel. Press through the balls of the feet. Slight engagement in the legs. Try to find a bit of a relaxation in the neck and shoulders. Try not to move the neck side to side in this pose. And start to feel the blood rushing down your body into your face. This is so good for us to get our head under our heart. Gentle squeeze in the glutes as well. Getting the blood and oxygen in our face is really good skincare as well. When you're ready, send the legs behind you. Bring your hands to the floor, palms facing down to create breaks. And a slow lower, really listening to your body. Gentle, gentle here, one vertebrae at a time, using the strength of the core and the hands as breaks to come all the way down. Now, the counter pose for this is a funny one, fish pose, but it's really nice to find a counter stretch. So come up onto your elbows, onto your forearms. Ooh, I am sweating. And bring your hands sort of under your sacrum. So your elbows are a little bit wider, actually, than your shoulders. And then puff up the chest. Send the head back behind you so the top of the head is reaching towards the ground. Really press your breastbone, press your heart towards the sky. Open up that throat consciously. Point into the toes. Now, a core strength version of this pose, which is the full pose, is bringing the top of the head to the ground and then pointing into the feet, bringing the palms together and lifting the feet off the ground. If you're done with strength poses, just stay in your more passive fish pose. But enjoy the opening in the heart and the throat after all of that shoulder stand. When you're ready, press through the elbows to lift the head and come back onto your back body. Final supine twists before Savasana. Hug your knees into the chest. Give yourself a tight squeeze. There's a shift in the texture of the practice now. Tell your nervous system that rest is coming, and it will prepare for rest. No more effort required. Extend your arms out into a T. Let your legs fall over to the left. Look over your right shoulder. Breathing into the twist. No more forcing here, just gravity is doing the work. Though try to keep the right shoulder on the ground. Looking over to the right. Inhale, both legs to center. Across the center, both legs fall over to the right. Knees are neither stacked. Look over your left shoulder. Left shoulder on the ground. Inhale, bring your knees back into the chest. One final squeeze. Maybe even lifting the shoulders off the mat so you can grab opposite elbows around the knees and then pulling the knees in towards the chest. Tight compression. And exhale, Savasana. Take up space. Legs out long, even wider than the mat maybe. Arms out wide, palms facing up. One last breath all together. Inhale through the nose. Exhale, sigh it out. And then settling into the stillness. Nothing left to do. Nowhere to be. But right here and right now. For you to hang out with you. The hard work is done. Allow the body to get heavy into the mat. In the asana practice, we shake things up. And in savasana, in rest, we put things back together. We give our bodies the necessary time and space and rest in order to absorb the benefits and the fruits of the practice. In order to let the body take in what it just did. And create a through line from the practice to the rest of your life and your practice off the mat. A transition, a smooth transition. Begin to wiggle the fingers and toes. Taking your time in the transition. Feel free to linger in Savasana if you have the time. If you're with me, you might find a deep stretch. Kicking through the heels, reaching your arms out in front of you, above you. Getting really nice and tall and proud. Hug your knees into the chest. Congratulate yourself. That was not an easy practice. You showed up for yourself. And by showing up for yourself, you're showing up for others. You're improving yourself for others. The ripple effect works. It vibrates outwards and touches other people's lives too. You might move onto a side, enjoy the fetal position, or you might rock gently into a seated position. Ending our practice as we finished it, in a comfortable seat. Finding one last grounding through the sit bones and reaching for the crown of the head. Sitting up tall, your hands can stay on your knees, or they can come into Anjali Mudra at heart center. Close your eyes. Bring your mind back to that intention, that person, or that group. Feel the shift in energy in your body. Bow your head in the direction of your heart. And thank you so much for your effort today, for practicing with me, for bearing with me, for all of your hard work. And namaste. Thanks, guys.